Hi, man. Pavic Daily Takes. This might quite possibly be one of the most painful daily takes I might ever have to do. I was watching the Lakers Thunder game yesterday, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, yo, the Lakers don't look right. They don't look right. And even worse off than the Lakers not looking right, LeBron don't look right, man. The Clippers guard you. Okay, so obviously LeBron's in year 17. I think everybody could see that this year. After having a full year off the grid, he's obviously lost a step. I mean, it's year 17. He's lost a step, but he was so athletic that him losing a step still puts him above most defenders. Him losing a step, he can still get by most defenders because he's LeBron James, and like his level of athleticism was so great that him losing a step brings you a little bit more back to the pack, but not really in the pack. And still during the season, if you would have asked me, oh, like how many teams do I think could accurately guard LeBron, it's really only a couple. Like the Raptors, I think they had all the defenders to be able to guard LeBron. The Clippers had the defenders to be able to guard LeBron. The Rockets have some defenders to be able to guard LeBron. The Bucks maybe a little bit. The Bucks have some of the defenders to be able to guard LeBron. Some of the defenders to be able to guard LeBron. But it wasn't too many teams that I would have said actually had the defenders to literally be able to guard LeBron. But over these last couple of games, man, I've seen teams that should not be having success against LeBron James have success against LeBron James. The Thunder were getting away with putting Darius Bazley on LeBron James, and there were no consequences. That should never happen. Now, granted, people say, oh, they clinched the number one seed. Maybe they took their foot off the pedal a little bit, and all that could be true. I don't want to overreact too much, obviously, because again, these games for the most part, outside of rhythm for the Lakers, don't really mean anything. But I think rhythm is very important. I don't know if everybody knows, but the playoffs start next week. Ain't like they start in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. They start next week. They start on the 11th. That's like Tuesday, bro. That is next week. The Lakers don't look good, man. Danny Green can't hit a shot. How many more Danny Green? I saw Dion Waiters hit a shot yesterday, hit off the side, that hit off the backboard. I'm like, that shouldn't happen. AD has looked good in spots. Against the Thunder, he looked terrible. Against the Jazz, he looked great, obviously, but a lot of the things that he was doing, do you believe he can replicate over a 7-game series? Like that step back three he hit and got fouled over Gobert. That was a great highlight, and it's cool, but do you think that he can replicate and have the jump shooting ability that he had in that game for a series? I think that remains to be seen. That's also why I say AD doesn't really punish you. Like, he'll get his numbers. Obviously he's great defensively, but offensively he doesn't really punish you. He'll get the fouls, he'll get the little rip through fouls and things like that, but he doesn't dominate, at least in my opinion. He doesn't dominate his court spacing because of the way he plays. And there's nothing wrong with the way he plays. Like, he's an incredible player. He's one of the most versatile players I think that we've seen at his position. But still, the fact remains he doesn't dominate his floor spacing. Like, he might make those shots. He might not make those shots. But it's not like, he's out there shooting 55%, 60% or something like that from the field. Again, he might make some of those shots. He may not make some of those shots. Those threes, he may go 4 of 6. He may go 0 for 4. And I'll take my chances with that over a 7-game series rather than letting him dominate me inside, which usually AD doesn't put, like I said, he doesn't prefer to do, which is why I personally think he don't like playing the 5. He wants to, be a stretch big because he has that capability. And granted, he's been top 3 in MVP voting doing that. He's had incredible seasons, doing that. So who am I to say that he shouldn't do that? He should keep doing whatever he's doing because it's working for him. But in my opinion, I just think that leads to him not dominating his floor space. But LeBron, man, like, it's worrying me because people are saying, oh, well, he's not being aggressive. I'm like, is he not being aggressive, or can he not beat his defenders the same way he could beat his defenders 3-4 months ago, before the season stopped? I don't know. Granted, it remains to be seen. Obviously, this is not the playoffs. Maybe when he gets to the playoffs, he'll turn it on and look differently, but I don't know. Obviously, LeBron James' jump shot already is not the best. Like, it's okay. It's definitely improved over the years, but it's not the best. And the LeBron I'm seeing right now is not the LeBron that I was seeing over the season. I'm sorry, it's just not. He looks a little bit different. He looks another step slower. Now, he's at the point where I think average defenders can have a chance defending LeBron James. Like even, in the Jazz game, I mean, yeah, he was 19 for 16, but how much did that really impact the game? And I also think those 9 points he had to really work for. Like I don't really see LeBron getting buckets these days where it doesn't look like he has to work for them. Like everything he does, it seems like he worked hard as hell for that. I mean, even the game winner that he had against the Clippers, that was a mistake. That wasn't supposed to happen. The shot he took was horrid. It just so happened that Kawhi and PG weren't paying attention and didn't grab a rebound, and he was able to sneak in there and get the tip in bucket. But in general, I have not been impressed with the Lakers. They are worrying me. They don't look good. I think the teams that look the best right now, in my opinion, are the Rockets. I think Portland looks great. I think Toronto looks great. Who else looks cool? The Suns. Who knows if the Suns actually make the playoffs? I don't know. They may not, but they look like, in my opinion at least, if I'm a Suns fan, I have hope for the future. I even think the Nets, they look good. Like they're a team where if I'm a Nets fan, I'm excited for next year. I'm like excited for whenever basketball returns next year. I'm excited for next year because I think, when we get KD and we get Kyrie back and we got all these other guys and now got a chance to get some experience, that could really, really bode well for us next playoffs when we get our big dogs back. And a guy like LeVert will be you if he's even on the team, or even you use these guys for trade bait. Who knows what happens? But the Lakers don't look good, man. They don't look good. The guys can't hit. I mean, Kuzma looks great. Kuzma, especially defensively, which is the one thing that shocked me a lot with Kuzma, is his defense. He looks like, if we get into a series with the Clippers, but if the Lakers get into a series with the Clippers, and I'm like, Kyle Kuzma go guard Kawhi Leonard, and I'm okay with that. I can feel comfortable with the fact that Kyle Kuzma will offer some resistance to Kawhi Leonard. Now, obviously, Kawhi can get his buckets. He's a great player, obviously, but I'm comfortable with the fact that I think Kuzma can offer some resistance to Kawhi Leonard. But yeah, I don't want to make this too long. You guys can tell me what you think, but the Lakers don't look good, and LeBron is scaring me a little bit. Like, did you lose another step over the break? Again, I know some people say he's not being aggressive. I wonder, is he not being aggressive, or is it not as easy for him to beat his defender that far away from the basket as it once was? I don't know. We'll see. The jury is still out, but let me know what you guys think. Pabby Daily Takes.